Hey, Sav.
Hey Shay, and bonjour brand connoisseurs. Welcome to the Art of Branding podcast on the Team SCG podcast network. So Shay, rate your day with minimal context.
7.2.
7.2. We love to see it.
No context, though.
That's high. Okay, none needed.
What about you?
I am going to provide minimal context and say that I cold plunged this morning, so I am raging at a 10.
A 10?
10.
That's exciting.
10. Absolutely.
So talk to us about our elephant in the room for today.
So our elephant in the room today, as you all may know, we just kind of rehashed some of our family dynamics since we live in a family business. We don't not live in a family business, but we work in a family business, and we have a guest with us today who has also been knees deep in the family business since, since forever.
Birth.
And exactly, since birth. And it's
but
just
interesting on the supplier side.
Exactly, on the other side. So without further ado, let us introduce you to Hayley Chipchase.
Hi guys, my name's Hayley Chipchase, and I'm a part of the Multiline group, Mac Marketing.
Yay.
Yes,
welcome.
We love Hayley. And I mean, at this point, how long have we been?
Gosh, I would say about 2.5, 3 years. So yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It really does.
Yes. So
I'm super curious about this conversation because obviously I sit in the chair on the distributor side, but I mean, among all the things of, letting everyone get to know you and how you decided to get into the promo business, but we would love to hear what your experience is.
Yeah, so pretty much I was born and raised into this industry. So my dad, his name's Mark. He's been in the industry for 25 years now. So I was born and raised as a dancer. I grew up in Virginia my whole life, and dance was my route. I was a competitive dancer from the age of 4, and that was the passion I thought I was going to do. And I went to college, went to James Madison, and was there for dance. I mean, like I said, that was my career, and got there, and I tore both my labrum cartilages and my hip. And it was one of those where I did it in high school, but the doctor at the time, he was just like, at this point, that's 2 for 2. You should probably just cut your losses and take a break from dancing. And that's what I did, but didn't know what I wanted to do. I was in my junior year almost at this point and was a dance major, and it's a lot of changing. So I spoke to my family and was like, guys, I don't know what to do. I think I'm just going to go into being a communication major and figure it out from there. And so COVID hit, and I was in college during the pandemic, which is everyone's dream.
Oh, wow.
And so my dad, still being a part of Mac Marketing, he was trying to figure out how to work through a pandemic, and he got a call from a supplier named Visions, and they were like, hey, we see you guys have the Southeast. Everyone keeps bringing up Mac Marketing, but you don't have Florida. Why? And my dad's like, we're a dad and son group. We don't have room for Florida in our territory. And they were like, okay, well, hire a third person and we'll give you Florida and the line. And my dad's like, perfect, let's do it. So my dad was trying to figure out who he wanted to do, and my brother made a joke, and he was like, bring on the cooler twin, Tori. I have a twin sister named Tori, and Tori was like, I don't want to be a part of the family industry. I think I want to do my own thing. So they decided to call me, and like I said, I was in my junior year at this point, and I was like, I'm so on board. It's a guaranteed job after a pandemic. I would love to. And they were like, well, the trick is we need you now. And I was like, okay, so I'm in college. How do I do that? And they were like, I don't know, figure it out. So I actually graduated a year early and joined the industry December 21 and love what I do. And after a lot of convincing, I was like to my dad, give me Florida. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah, it's our new territory. You and Nick both have your territories covered. No one knows us in Florida, and I was always seen as my dad's daughter. Everyone in the industry in Virginia was like, oh, Mark's daughter, and I wanted to be Hayley. I wanted to be my own person, and I was like, send me to Florida. Let me meet with these new people. Let me show you how I can bring something to the table, and we'll go from there. And I've been here for about 3 years now, and I'm loving what I do every day and couldn't ask for anything more.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, there's
so much to unpack.
There's a lot there. I think let's rewind a little bit for those who are watching that may not know. What exactly is like a multi-line rep? Take it from the top.
Love it. So the way that a multi-line representative works is I represent a bunch of different suppliers, and I like to say I'm that middle person. So when it comes to your projects, you need to check anything. If you're having that hesitant communication, I'm kind of that middle person where I can help with that. So I pretty much just work directly with suppliers and give them a way for them to meet with clients in Florida easier, because a lot of our suppliers we have some in Canada, we have some on the West Coast. So just gives them more of that person to give that touch point, but also having a bunch of lines to open up. And sometimes when you go to distributors, a lot of them are picky on who they want to see depending on the lines they represent. So in my range, I have a good amount of lines that I can show them in a 45-minute meeting that will just give them a bunch of different ideas, anything from apparel to your journals to your tech. We're going to have it all. So
that's a good way to describe it. Would you say that you had were you overstimulated by the industry when you first came in? Because I think that's one of the first things that I realized is I have no clue what we're even selling because we sell everything.
Yeah, that's a great point. So I definitely was overstimulated. So actually funny story was so I did grow up in the industry, so in our garage all the time I would see the pens growing up and the hats and things like that. And my twin sister, she was always interested in promo. I was not. So growing up at the age of 7, she would be like, look at the javelina from Hub. And I mean, I'm just like, Tori, why do you know that at 7 years old?
Why do you care?
Literally. So it was one of those where I never really paid attention. And then when I did decide to join the team, I realized I had to go through all the training. And my brother, amazing at training me. I went to Georgia and trained with him. And the way we did it was we did a line a week. So a line a day. So every day he would give me the pitch and then he would give me a few minutes to process it, learn the products, and then I would give him my pitch. And we did that every day. So first day was HPG. The next day was Storm Tech. And every day a new line changed. And it was definitely a lot. So we had this inside joke. I am a very emotional person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So my brother was like, Hayley, you are only allowed a cry a day. That is all you can have right now. So it was a lot. But once you get the flow with it, I mean, going into meetings, it just comes right off your tongue and it's easy. And I mean, even Savannah made a joke. She's like, you know your product. And when it's an easy and an exciting item, it's easy to sell. So
yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I feel like that's one thing that a lot of people lack is the passion is for what you're doing. 100%. I feel like you can really see the difference makers in our industry and I even, would say that about your story too and your success. The passion is really the indicator of whether you're going to do really well or not. So,
100%. No, I could not agree more.
Is Tori still not in the business?
So Tori is in the industry. She is just not on the Multiline side of things.
Okay.
So Tori actually works for HPG Brands, and she works with JQ doing field trading.
Cool. So the whole family at this point.
Whole family's in the industry.
Sheesh.
And 3 of us were in the family business, and then my twin sister, she's on her own side of it, still supplier side, but fully for HPG.
She decided I'm going my own way.
She was a smart cookie. She said, I'm going to go my own route.
So what's it been like for you? How have you navigated the family dynamics and coming in? You're essentially the same in the terms of second gen. Your dad built something over the last 20 plus years, and then you came in and said, I'm gonna shake it up a little bit. So what was that like for you?
It was a lot for sure. So I think I saw your guys' podcast a few episodes back where you talked about coming into the industry and having to change it, see what's new, what's out there, and it's one of those, like you said in the previous, being so much younger, coming into an industry that is more masculine and an older crowd, changing it up and giving a new dynamic is huge. So it was one of those for Mac Marketing. As I said, we are a multi-line agency, so we represent a ton of different suppliers. And I think for us, one of the biggest things was social media. Mm-hmm. Now in our day and age, social media is huge. And being a multi-line, I mean, I go into meetings and people still don't know all the lines I represent. It's a lot to remember. And I think it's one of those where even going into social media, making sure each week we're showing a different line of ours with what's hot trending, what's deep in inventory, always showing what's going to be positive and help them going into what they need for their projects. So I would say just trying to make sure I'm tweaking with new ideas. So social media has been a big one for us. And then email blast, just making sure we're staying active and up to date with our clients, making sure we're staying top to mind as a supplier, because you guys know there is a sea out there of different suppliers, and making sure we can stay top of mind is the biggest thing for us. So I would say that's definitely where I've come into play, is a lot with the social media and then just making sure we're staying top of mind right now.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing, is being able to be omnipresent in this industry, because I mean, there's so many different options. And I mean, that's something that you've always done literally straight from the jump, is I see your name in my inbox all the time. And I mean, I'm not even selling in the way that I once was, but it's so cool to see that you've taken this, and it's not even just in my inbox. It's on my socials too. I mean, I feel like we've formed a relationship aside from you coming in and visiting us, but always being able to check in on each other and just be hey girl, how's it going? So then whenever something does come in, it's okay, my girl Hayley has got this and she's got this covered. How many lines in total do you rep?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say it's probably going to be right around 9 to 10 different lines.
Woo!
So, yeah, it's a lot and it's worth it though. And like we said, I mean, I pretty much cross off any single category you could think of. If
course.
you need headwear, I've got you. If you need apparel, I've got you. Any home and office, like I check off all the boxes, which truly does make my job so exciting. And like I always say, if you have a project, send it to me and I'm never going to tell you no. So
I think you've done a really good job with that though, because, you know, our sales team, it's funny, like they call you Chippy, like Chipchase coming in today. Like it's, you know, that you've really, you know, made an impression on them and they do think of you for those types of projects. So I think whatever method that you're using is definitely working, at least on our sales team.
And honestly, that means the world to me because, I mean, coming into the industry, like I said, there's so many people out there. So making sure you stick is a big thing. So like we always say, everyone in my family had a different way to remember themselves. So my dad, he's British. It's his accent. He has a thick, charming accent. Everyone swoons over him. Then you have my brother. He says it's his good looks. He'll give you a little tease when he's giving you the
Sounds like a
apparel
brother
side
thing
of
to
things.
say.
I mean, we're just so different, but it all works in their own ways. And then there's me. I don't know what my thing is. I say it's my personality. I just want you to know I care. And I think it's one of those where I can sell you the product all day long, but at the same time, it's a relationship. I want to make sure you're okay. I want to see how you're doing. How are your kids? How's the family? How are the puppies? Like, that's the kind of person I am. Because at the end of the day, like, if we have a relationship, you're just going to be like, oh, I have 20 caps I need to order. I have 100 t-shirts. Like, it just works from there. And at the end of the day, my dad always says, if you don't love what you do, it's not made for you anymore. And you got to wake up every day knowing you're loving what you're doing. And I truly feel like I can't wake up. I mean, I woke up so early today and just couldn't sleep because I was so excited to be here. So it's just one of those where that's the kind of relationship you want to have. And that's what we've definitely embedded in Mac marketing, which I think is huge for us.
Did you ever think that you would be in a sales role?
No. No.
That's something that's
she
so
wanted to be
interesting.
dancer girly.
It's so interesting to me. Like,
no, it's one of those where I've been told I'm very social and I love to talk to people, but if you know me, it takes a while to get me out of this shell. Like, I am a very antisocial person to start, but once I meet you and I like you, I mean, it's just so easy. But it's one of those, I mean, being a salesperson, I mean, I am not the most confrontational, and with this job, you have to be at times. And it was one of those getting that little over my shoulder. I was so nervous for, but Nick's like, sometimes you just gotta pick up the phone and you gotta do that hard call. And
yes,
for me, that's really hard, but
so
I've learned.
Speak to that, like the first few times you're going through something like that, because I think that that's a very relatable position to be in when you're in this industry, is not just the sunshine and the rainbows, but sometimes delivering that either like bad news or like confronting somebody or, you know, holding somebody's feet to the fire and having a really stern conversation. And especially if you're not innately built to do that, like I wasn't either.
Yeah.
Like how did you, you know, kind of combat that?
Oh gosh, a lot of preparing myself. So I would say pretty much what I would do is I would so my brother and I, or my dad and I, would get on the phone and I would kind of ask them, like, how do I go about this? Because like I said, I've never been the confrontational type of person. So when we tell them we have inventory and their orders due next week and we don't have it, how am I the one to break that to them when I'm just the middle person? So I think for me, it was just one of those where, thank goodness, a lot of times the people I work with understand that it just was an accident. And a lot of times it's something I can't control. So, I mean, I just go into it being Hayley. I mean, I'm open and honest. That's the kind of person I always have been. I mean, I can paint a rainbow picture for you, but at the same time, like, I want to give you the truth because that's the only way we're going to grow together. So I think for me, I was nervous about the confrontation, but it did get easier over time just because I realized you got to do it. I mean, that's life, and it's never going to be a solid, easy road. And I mean, I had the week right before the storms came our way, and it was just a train wreck for me with mess after mess. And you just have to rebuild it and keep growing. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's just making sure that you are telling your distributor the truth behind it, because that is the partnership. I mean, you just got to make sure you're growing together. And I think that's truly the biggest thing with it.
Yeah, I would say that trust for us is definitely by far the number one thing that, you know, in terms of, we don't want the sugarcoat. Like, we want to know what's up, and we want to know if we have the opportunity to fix it or not. So I would agree with that 100%. What about like any tumultuous parts of the family business?
Oh gosh.
Give us some tea there.
Oh gosh. I mean,
like, what's the hardest part for you? Brother,
I would
dad,
say
like,
the hardest part is just, that's a good question. I would say just trying to keep it as much away from the family side of things as much, just because I think it's one of those where we're all trying to get our orders for our territories, and we're so competitive. So one day Nick will tell us he got the best orders for the week, and the next week I'm fighting saying I got it. And I would say it's just one of those where it feels so competitive, but that's a good thing. That's a great thing. So I would say like that's probably the most tea is we're all so competitive and hungry to make sure we're all up on our numbers and we're all giving the best we can. And if we see someone slacking, we're going to tell them very quickly, because we're commission based. That's how we make our money. So we need to have that drive and that hunger. And without it, we're not going anywhere. So no, I would say definitely the competitive side behind it is the most crazy.
Can you relate to that, Shay?
No.
Not at all.
Me? Come on. No, I think it's similar. Like for us, it's just tough when you rely on your family for the definition of what you're going to consider success. And, there is no turning it off. So there is no, we had a bad day at work, but let's just go be friends and have dinner. Like that's an impossible situation to be in. And a lot of people just don't understand, but it's nice to know that's also on the supplier side, not just on our side. Like this shit exists no matter what.
No, you're not in like a super unique position in the sense of, I mean, Hayley's literally in the exact same boat that like working with, I mean, I'm able to, as soon as I leave these doors, except if you call me, like turn it off and shift gears into something else. But like,
is that because I called you late like the other day? So you just threw that in there?
No.
I even prefaced it with like, I'm sorry, I'm an asshole for calling you this late.
You know you're cool. You're cool to call me whenever you want. But like, it's just funny when like to think that you all continue in that mindset, which it's hard. It's really hard for me to turn it off personally. And I'm always talking about it with my husband and whatnot, but at least
He's
like he isn't able
ready
to like
bounce,
but he isn't like able to like bounce it back to me and like continue to like enable me to like talk through like all these, these a million different
so
things.
You get to vent and be done.
Exactly. I let it out.
It's literally just like, so here was my day. And then he's like, okay, exactly. So here was mine. And then they're done.
And then we're done. But like, exactly. You guys have that back and forth because you're all going through the same experience together. And
so what are your goals for, your side of the family business? Where do you see it going from here? What's the dreams for Mac Marketing?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Honestly, right now, for me, I would say my biggest goal is still growing Florida, because I've only been here for 3 years and Mac Marketing has only had Florida for 3 years. So I would say for me, it's just still getting my name out there, making sure everyone possible can know who Hayley is, because when it comes to our job, like I said, making sure you are the face of the company, that's huge in this industry, making sure that they are going to come to you when it comes to your project. So I would say for me, definitely growing Florida, making sure we are staying active with social media. I just want to make sure we're growing more just with how the industry is, because I think it's one of those, like I said earlier, the industry is definitely more on the older side and we're starting to see more of the younger generation coming. So I think it's just one of those, making sure like we're staying up to date with what is flowing and what is trending, and making sure we're sharing the hot trending and the promo side of it all.
Yeah.
You have good lines for that goal.
Yeah.
But and I also think it's about the way you present them too. We know it's a good meeting from a sales team perspective when I'm always in my office, the door's always closed. But like typically when we're having a really good sales meeting, people are coming in and being like, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
And it's always like, oh, look at that.
Getting
and
like door knocks.
I know. I'm like, sure, come in. But it's interesting because people are hoping that I'm going to turn that into self promo.
Yeah,
Anytime
of
someone
course.
brings me something, they're like, can we have it?
I love it. No, and it's one of those where like that's what I come in here for. I want you guys to see the product and get excited, because that's how my products are going to sell. And like you said, even if it is getting a self promo, trying it out. I mean, you guys see my apparel, and I always say it's one of those where trying it out and wearing it, that is how you're going to sell it. Because I promise you, if you put on that Monashi hoodie from Stormtech, you're going to fall in love and you're going to realize why I love it. So I just think it's one of those, like you said, and we've drilled on it this whole talk, is just having the connection and sharing more than just the promo and being a team truly at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give someone who has no idea this industry exists, but maybe has the opportunity to get into it?
Ooh, oh
Where do you
gosh.
start?
Take it day by day would be my first advice. I would say when you first start, it looks like a lot, and it is a lot. But at the same time, once you get the groove of it all, it's so worth it. And it is the most exciting thing to wake up and do this every day. I mean, when I get projects from you guys asking me to be creative, I mean, that's what I live for. That's my job. So it's one of those where I get to be exciting. And I mean, your guys' brains are probably fried from trying to come up with creative project after creative project. I'm sitting in my office waiting for you to send that to me. So it's just one of those where I would say, don't give up, because there are times where it's going to be hard and you're going to be over it and want to stop. But it is so worth it. And then honestly, when the end user gets to see their product for the first time, that unboxing is unlike anything you've ever seen. It is such a rewarding feeling seeing it all come to life. I mean, I truly love what I do, and it is so worth it.
And it shows, girl.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
The
you.
best way.
No, you
The
have,
absolute
like-
best way.
You've always had like just a genuine enthusiasm about you, and I think that that's just obviously super contagious, because I mean, we're all nerds of what we do here, and it's when we meet people that have that same level of like energy and excitement, it's I mean, it's something that we all just like gravitate towards. So you mentioned that like our industry is a little bit older.
Yes.
And we call it, crusty and dusty over here. So
I was waiting for you to put the plug.
you knew I couldn't help myself. No. So like, obviously, there's so much for us to do and modernize the industry. And you're over here pairing yourself with very modern lines, essentially. Is that all strategic, or or has it just kind of happened like organically? Like how did you kind of like align yourself in this position?
I would say,
How do you choose who you rep?
a great question. I would say it pretty much was all organic. So when it comes to who you rep, it pretty much has to be a 50-50 decision. So one, you got to hope that they want multi-lines, because now in our industry, I mean, multi-lines are slowly going away and it's becoming a lot more factory rep based. So I would say that's number one. And then two, just hoping they don't have a rep in your territory already. And then it's just honestly having that interview, making sure there's a connection there, making sure you understand the line enough to sell it. And then from there, you kind of just say, okay, I think we want to hire you. We'll hit the ground running. But so for me, I actually got very fortunate, because my dad, being in the industry for 25 years, has already gained all that trust and support from all of our suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of those where when I moved to Florida, about half of them said, we'll take Hayley as Florida rep as well. And then you had the other half that was like, we don't really know Hayley. She's 20 years old. We don't really know if we want that to be our rep. And I was like, understand. That's fair. This is also why I didn't want anyone else to go to Florida, because they'd be losing lines. I mean, why? So I was like, no, that's fine. I mean, give me a year and I'll show you why you should give me the other lines. And after a year, I got 2 of our other lines and I grew those. And it's just one of those where I think if they see you out there working as hard as you can, the suppliers, and if your name keeps getting popped up, they're gonna be looking you up, and they're gonna wonder why. And I think that's the big thing. It's just one of those where you just want to be the best of the best, and that's what any multi-line agency or any supplier wants to be. Is they want to be the best one. They want to be the one you're always thinking about. So I think for us, it's mainly just making sure we're staying top of mind and hoping the rest follows, and it has so far. And
I think it was a good plug, because like the MS of that was, it's all about the hustle, and she's like, you guys don't want me yet.
Exactly. And I mean, that's a huge part of our ethos too, is like, it's not a no, it's just a not now. Yet. Exactly. You don't know me yet. So
and you were confident about like, let me just show you what I can do.
100%. And that was more my thing. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a team player, and you guys will see that if you email me now. Mm-hmm. You could send me a line that I don't represent, and I still will make sure I find the contact for that line for you.
I think we've done that by accident.
Trust me, it happens all the time, and I'm okay with that. But I mean, it's just one of those, for example, I do not represent every single line of HPG brands, and I know that can be confusing to some people. So it's one of those, if you send me an item request for any of the HPG lines, I will give you a heads up that is not my line, but I still will send it to the right person for you. Because at the end of the day, I want you to get the order too. I don't want you to have that stop waiting for an answer from me to get you to the right person. It should just be one seamless transaction, because you want to get the order and I want to be able to help you get that, whether it's my line or not. I mean, at the end of the day, my goal is to make you happy, and that's the truth.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Boom.
Like done.
So who do you think is doing it well in the industry, whether it be like the suppliers or distributors or even like buying group side? Like where are you seeing like real innovation because you're seeing so many different sides of the business?
Yeah, honestly, social media right now. I mean, social media is crazy. If you go on LinkedIn, if you go on Facebook, the promo page, I mean, everywhere you click on right now on your phone, you're going to see the social media pages pop up. And I mean, there's some amazing people in the industry that do it really, really well. And it's one of those where when you see that, it kind of just makes you think about it again. And it's like, oh, I didn't even realize, like, in Florida, towels always sell. Like, they just did a towel blast. Like, it's just like always making sure you're staying top of mind and seeing everyone on social media doing that so strategically and well. They're making sure they're staying up to date with the trends on TikTok. They're making sure they're using the lingo the younger generation uses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just one of those where, like, they're just making sure they're staying focused on what is trending and happening in the industry. And I think that's who's winning right now. I mean, social media is just growing and nonstop, and the people that are already on it are already one step ahead of everyone else that's joining right now.
I agree. So speaking of all the different connectivity and all of that, how would people get a hold of you, reach out to you, learn more about you and the things that you do?
Oh, you can find my contact information pretty much anywhere. So LinkedIn, my name, Hayley Chipchase. And then if you want to email me, Hayley at gomacmarketing.com.
Spell Hayley.
Hayley. Little unique, little different over here. But so
Hey.
at gomacmarketing.com. And then our Instagram is mac_marketing. So
There we go.
pretty simple, but all Mac marketing right there for you.
Well, I hope someone that didn't know you before gets to know you now.
Me too.
And take it from us, you are a huge asset,
Thank you.
not only as part of our supply chain, but just part of our relationship network. We're really lucky to get to have you on our team.
Thank you so much. And you guys mean the world to me. I mean, I love coming into the office. Team SCG is my go-to. I love y'all. And
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate everything y'all do for me.
Oh my gosh,
We do too.
Haley, that's so sweet of you. Well, we'll have to have you on again soon, and we are going to have Tori on eventually soon. And then we want to. I mean, honestly, we should make it a goal to have all the Chip Chases on.
I agree.
That would be a crazy podcast episode.
Chip Chase bingo. Oh my
Oh,
god,
wow.
that would be insane. No, but we'll have to have you on again soon. Maybe next time you're in town.
I love it.
And we can just continue to shoot the shit.
Let's do it.
But thank you all so much for tuning in. Like, follow along, subscribe, tell us your favorite thing about the episode in the comments, and we will see you next Monday. Au revoir, brand connoisseurs.
Bye-bye.